Check, check, 1 2. Check, check. 1 2. Hey y'all, Triceratops Jr. here, coming to you live from the black void of space, otherwise known as Delaware. Hi, I'm in Delaware. I'm very sorry, I've always wanted to do that. Bonus points though, if you can tell me what movie that's from. It shouldn't be that hard, but if you comment that shit, I will heart it. Whatever the fuck that does, I'll heart your comment. As you may or may not have noticed, the channel recently passed 100 subscribers, which doesn't seem like a lot, and it really isn't a lot, but it's still a benchmark and that I've finally passed, so I'm just excited about it. When I started this channel, I think 10 months ago, I never expected to get this far, but I'm still here, I'm still going, so clearly that's something to be celebrated, right? Right? In honor of this occasion, I kinda wanted to put together a top 10-ish list of my favorite games of all time. But as with choosing favorites about anything, movies, books, TV shows, albums, any of them, it can seem kinda like an impossible task, and it sort of is. So here's what I did. I sat down, I wrote out a long-ass list of just games that I've played. And then from there, I whittled it down to the ones that have impacted me or affected my love of gaming the most. And so that's what you're about to see, but it still didn't seem quite right. So here's the plan with this list. It's a temporary list of all my favorite games. A list that whenever we reach another goal, say 1,000, 10,000 subs, if we ever get there, I'm gonna come back to this list and revisit the games, see if they're still my favorites, if I have new favorites, add them into the list, change out old ones. We may only ever get one of these videos, but I still would love to just see how my favorite games change over time with me, I guess. So the way I've categorized it is alphabetically, because ranking them in a numerical order just seemed too difficult. So without further ado, this is Triceratops Jr.'s top 10 games of all time. Number 1. Alan Wake. I first got Alan Wake in 2013. I tried to play it several times, but I was super limited because my only computer I had was a crappy 2000s Toshiba laptop. Broken textures and lag everywhere, so I had to hold off on playing it. It was probably a year or two later that I finally got a computer that could run the game. I don't know what drew me into the game first. I wouldn't say it was the gameplay, which I'll admit can be a little tedious at times, but I think it was probably the cinematicness? Is that even a word? The gameplay is like a movie, and there was something I really appreciated about that. It told a story that was fit for the big screen, and I was drawn in, and on subsequent playthroughs, I still feel that way. Alan Wake might actually be the perfect movie game. Number 2. Borderlands 2. Borderlands 2 was the first Borderlands game I ever played, and honestly, I probably could give this spot to the whole series, but I decided to go with the one that best exemplifies what I want to talk about. I have close to 3,000 hours in Borderlands 2, across all the consoles I've played it on, PC, Xbox 360, PS4, and now Switch. It's a game that I keep coming back to because it's honestly just so replayable. Loot always changes, there are different builds to try, and so many quests to complete. But I think the reason I love Borderlands as a whole is because it's a game where I can just sit back, shoot things, and watch them explode into more guns, which I can use to shoot other things. It's extremely satisfying, and it's a great stress reliever, and has played a massive role in my upbringing, for better or for worse. Number 3. Control. This is the second game on this list now by Remedy Games. I would say I'm a bit of a fanboy, but not really, cause I've still never played Quantum Break, but I digress. Control got me excited right off the bat. It's the perfect blend of mystery, horror, and action, and once again, it's all blended through that sort of cinematic lens. I don't want to spoil anything about the game for obvious reasons, but the ashtray maze section of the game is one of the coolest sections I have played in any video game, period. I'll just leave it at that before I start to give things away. Number 4. Dead by Daylight. Horror has always been one of my favorite genres, but very few horror games allow for true replayability. Once you've seen a jump scare, it kind of loses its punch. The beauty of Dead by Daylight is that there's so much variability from game to game. Different killers, different survivors, and then also, there's the human element. A human controlling the killer is far less predictable than an AI chasing you down. It's harder to play around human intuition, which adds so much to the fear factor of the game. When I first got Dead by Daylight, I really didn't expect to play it as much as I did, but now, it's pretty much become a staple of my video game arsenal. Number 5. Hollow Knight. Surprisingly, a game I just beat literally a few days ago is already on the list. Hollow Knight is a surprisingly beautiful game, in every sense of the word. The world, the music, the story, everything about this game is just enthralling. I've never been a huge Metroidvania player or much of a roguelite player either, but this game is so masterfully crafted that I just had to fall in love with it. It's basically the gift that keeps on giving. There's so much to do, so much to see. So what's wrong with taking the back streets? Well, what's wrong is you might stumble into a difficult area way ahead of time, which I did a lot in my playthrough, but it didn't deter me, and I walked out the other side better for it. Hollow Knight is truly a magical game. Number 6. The Lord of the Rings Online. I've talked about this before in other videos, but I played a lot of MMOs growing up. It was a sort of natural progression, switching games as I got older, and where I ended up was The Lord of the Rings Online. It's weird because it's a game I often stop playing. I'll move on to go play World of Warcraft or Final Fantasy XIV, but somehow I always come back to Lord of the Rings Online. I think it was the first MMO I actually got super invested in, the first one I actually really cared about what I was doing in the game. And being a massive Tolkien fan has also really pushed my love of this game along. But The Lord of the Rings Online will always hold a special place in my heart, even if one day it isn't on this list. Number 7. Night in the Woods. Sometimes a game just comes along at the perfect time in your life. It hits you in all the right places and leaves a lasting impact. For me, that game was Night in the Woods. A beautiful story wrapped up in a tight cartoony package. Night in the Woods is one of the few games I consider to be perfect. There's just so much to love about it. The way it looks, the way it plays, the way it makes you feel. This game gives me a very specific vibe that only a few things can. It's that late fall, early winter feeling where the cold is just setting in and the fog hangs low in the mornings. It's a feeling I get so vividly from this game, and seeing as that's also my favorite time of year, it just seems to make sense that I love this game so much. Number 8. Psychonauts. Just like how I said Night in the Woods is a perfect game, I put Psychonauts in that same category. There is not a single bad thing I could say about Psychonauts. It's a game full of wonderfully imaginative worlds, hilarious dialogue, and some genuinely sweet moments. It used to be a yearly thing for me to play through the game, and I say used to, but now that I think about it, I actually played it twice in the past 6 months. Maybe I have a problem. Or maybe it's just a sign of how much I love the game, but either way, Psychonauts is a game I will play again and again, and I can't wait for Psychonauts 2 to come out. Number 9. Terraria. I'm gonna say this right off the bat. Terraria is a better game than Minecraft. That's the kind of thing that's gotten me a lot of hate before, but I honestly don't care. As revolutionary as Minecraft is, and no disrespect to the game, I think that Terraria took Minecraft's core and just perfected it. Being able to see the magnificent 2D designs that people have made is just mind-blowing. But Terraria also took it a step further and added more progression and a sort of story to go along with the game, albeit an open one. These two things put Terraria far above Minecraft for me. With numerous large updates following the original release, there's always been so much to do in the game. And I know Minecraft has gotten many updates too, but just look at Terraria's final update, Journey's End. It added over 1,000 items to the game. So It's been substantial to say the least. I guess the point is, Terraria is a game I love and one that I will always keep going back to. I've picked my side against Minecraft, and I'm gonna stick with it. Now, before I get to the final game, I kind of want to pull a bit of a watch mojo and do an honorable mentions list. No context or anything, no stories, just some games that I feel like should be mentioned, because they are still important, just not important enough for the top 10? I don't know. Kingdom Hearts 2. The Binding of Isaac, Rebirth. Rock Band 2. Firewatch. To the Moon. And finally, number 10. Paper Mario: The Thousand Year Door. The Paper Mario series has always had a special place in my heart. They are by far my favorite Mario games, except for Sticker Star and Color Splash, those two suck. But the first three are phenomenal games, each in their own way, and I haven't played the new one yet, but I'll get to it. The Thousand Year Door, however, was the first one I played, and one of my first experiences with the turn-based RPG. It's a game that I'm extremely nostalgic for, which is part of why it made the list, but I also love it for the snarky writing. It seems so out of character for the Mario world, but it's also some of the funniest shit to come out of the Mario series. It's not a game I've played as many times as, say, Psychonauts, but it's still a game that I've come back to many times over the years, and it's always just a really fun time. And there you have it. My top 10 games of all time, as of whatever today's date is. I'm going to put it up right there, in front of my face. Maybe a little lower. Let's do it like, I don't know how to do fancy graphics like that, though. It'll appear. It doesn't matter. This list is going to be ever-changing. There's no way around that. More games come out all the time, so there's bound to be new things that I love. So hopefully, somewhere down the line, we get the chance to revisit this list and reevaluate. And that's pretty much it for me. If you live in Delaware, and yeah, you live in Delaware, I'm sorry. If you need someone to talk to, just reach out to me. I'm all ears. This is the Delaware emotional support line. When you live in Delaware and you need someone to talk to, reach out to me. My phone number is bleep. I don't have a buzzer tone. I'm not going to give a fake number either. I'm just talking out of my ass here. Thank you so much for watching. If you liked what you saw, be sure to subscribe for a new video every single week. Every Thursday, I release them. It happens. Or if you want to catch me live, I'm over on Twitch at Triceratops_Jr. I stream 3 days a week over there, and we just like to have a fun time. That's it, y'all. Peace out. Catch you on the flip side, and I'll see you with another video like this, maybe someday.